Why are Star Wars fan films better than the official product? I apologize about the lack of updates lately. One of the best things about being a father is that you can share everything with your child. But then your child comes and shares everything with you, including sinusitis. So I've been very much mucus lately. Let's just leave it at that. There are two fan projects in the Star Wars realm that I am super excited about. One of which is by Ivan Ortega, and one of which is by Star Wars Theory. Now this is what's weird, because my tail is wagging harder for those guys than it was for like Solo. And I don't even really care about episode 9, except to make fun of it and get content out of it. Even if J.J. Abrams ends up doing like a Hail Mary and punting it over the goalposts, Disney's trilogy, it didn't really add up to much. You had a good setup, but you played off nostalgia too hard. And you brought in Ruin Johnson, who he gave us the lactating sea beast. That's going to be his... Oh, and he gave us this too. That's going to be his contribution. Ron Howard had to come in and sweep up the debris left in the wake of Kathleen Kennedy's firing of Lord and Miller. And I don't blame Ron Howard for that, okay? He's got some solid credentials as far as knowing George Lucas and as far as, directing ability. He walked into a shit show and did the best he could with it. So Ivan Ortega is doing a re-edit of The Last Jedi. And he's basically fixing it so it's a real Star Wars movie. He noticed the same things that we all noticed, but he has his own computer and his own editing station, and he's able to get in there and do the things that we wish we would have been able to receive. He doesn't want to subvert our expectations. He wants to write a love letter to the fans. And I'm right behind him. I mean, he's even going to lengths to like reshoot fight scenes. He's a martial artist, and he hired some badass motherfuckers to flip around and do Form 4 and all that kind of shit that we want to see in a Star Wars lightsaber fight. Which I can't say that we got one of those in The Last Jedi. There was a fight that involved lightsabers, but it wasn't like a direct one-on-one duel. One of them was a poorly executed throne room scene with disappearing daggers and it doesn't matterness thrown at the Supreme Leader Snoke. We didn't see the Knights of Ren, and then the thing that we wanted to see when Luke confronts Kylo Ren, we wanted to see that badass Jedi, because last time we saw Luke, he was what, like 24 or 25, and he would have had like 30 years to get better, especially if you think he's training with Force ghosts and his dad and Yoda and studying every little piece of Jedi lore he can get his mitts on. And even if his temple ultimately was taken down by what I suspect was Kylo and the early iteration of the Knights of Ren, he still would possess the skill. So when we got what we got, the stupid Matrix bullshit, and it wasn't a real lightsaber fight. Ivan's fixing that. Star Wars Theory. Now, I've been a fan of that channel since way before I started doing this. I used to actually walk to work and play it in my headphones and just listen to him riffing on Star Wars materials. And this is a dude who knows his shit, okay? Star Wars theory is really good at the what if scenarios. So, you know, what if Obi-Wan didn't dismember Anakin, and what would happen then? And this dude rolls with that and then creates plausible scenarios, things that are entertaining and enough to get you going, So this dude, out of his own fucking pocket, made a high quality Star Wars fan film. You know, he's been very public about it, and again, it's a love letter to the fans. It's I'm like salivating about it. Now, why am I more excited about fan films than I am about Episode 9? Well, I'll tell you what. Disney, Lucasfilm, is about money. Now, they have the most potentially profitable IP on the planet. They could do marvelous things if they have the right people where they need to be, but they don't. What they have are puppet masters with an agenda. Okay, there's a heavy social engineering aspect that is using not only movie studios, but you know, music and social media and regular media to put out a narrative, to put out a version of reality that they all want us to stick in our heads, and then go to work and believe that that's what life is about. Life is not about that. Okay. Life is an exploration. It's a deep, meaningful, spiritual experience. And it's up to you how much you decide to involve yourself in the search for meaning. And if you don't, fine. Do your thing. Go shop at the mall. Stick your ass on the sink and take selfies. You know, make bullshit YouTube videos. Or you can ask yourself the big questions. And entertainment at its best leads us to do that. It leads us back to ourselves, leads us back to that. Who am I? Who do I choose to be? How can I better the world that I exist in? We'll see. Fan films are about passion. Fan films are made out of love for the subject matter, for the canon. And at this point, I think most of us have headcanon about Star Wars. And then we have bullshit that happens in the theater. Fan films reflect the spirit that Episode 4 was made with. Now, Episode 4, George Lucas, with just like a dozen or so paintings, went to the studios and said, here's what I want to do. And everyone was like, well, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Bigfoot guy's not wearing pants, and what the fuck is a Tatooine? And the guys who hired him was like, don't worry about that. Just go, here's your money, go do your thing. And George Lucas put together a team of guys who reshaped the industry. And in a lot of ways, it was the biggest independent flick ever created. So that's what Ivan and that's what Star Wars theory are bringing back to their own productions. It's coming out of their hearts. It's not coming out of pressure to break the ceiling of X billion dollars. Okay, it's not like they can't go out and sell little toys and all that kind of shit. They just want to make good Star Wars. And it's going to be funny to me, in the sense that, well, in the same way that Comicsgate has worked out. We have people in the entertainment industry telling us, like, this is good shit. This is the shit you need. Why don't you like this shit? Oh, you're a sexist, you're a bigot, you're a misogynist. Bad. And then they turn around and they do their own shit and they explain to their audience, they're like, look, you know, we just like this, and this. We want to see this, and this, but we're not seeing it in the... That's the same thing that fuels every social and cultural movement. And usually it's also a switch of formats. So, you know, you think about like FM radio. That was just a bunch of kids who said, like, I don't like what's on AM radio. I don't like the fact that it's only like 2 minutes and then I have to listen to a cigar commercial. No, fuck it. Let's create our own stations and we can play entire records of far out people who, you know, wouldn't get airplay otherwise. And it's that sort of like inner circle. It's like, oh, we got like an inside joke. We have a blunt we can pass around. You know, it's like, hey man, did you hear about the... And that's what it's all about. It's community building. And years from now, we're going to look back on this point. So hopefully Disney, Lucasfilm, you're looking at this and realizing how you need to course correct. Okay? It's really important because these guys are doing it out of their own pockets, but you pretty much have infinite resources. So if you look at the response to this kind of thing and then apply that to your business model, you can make like dump trucks of money. You can make Titanics of money. Give us what we want. My name is Immortal Coil, and whether you're the guy at the end of the street playing guitar for your bread, or you're a bazillionaire corporate executive, what you focus on becomes your reality. And to those fat cats, if you don't give us what we want, we're just going to make it ourselves.